Alright, so today I'm going to be going over how to rekey a lock. Rekeying locks are pretty basic, honestly, and it is a huge part of the locksmith industry, being able to rekey a basic lock. Now this lock I didn't have a key to, so I had to pick it open. That's not a problem at all, but I did another video here on how to shim a lock, so if you need information on that, you can go over to that video. Here though, we just slide, as you can see. So when the key is now turned, if there was a key in it, or you've already picked it or shimmed it and it's turned, this follower is super important because we have springs and top pins in this upper compartment that will all go shooting out if this doesn't perfectly follow. So you want the top, the long part, in line with the top of this. This is what we call the Bible. So that part that has the hole you want on the side, the top part up above, and you slide it through just like so, all the way through, and then all the pins that were in the bottom right here can come on out, and we can get rid of those guys. We don't need them anymore. Now there's multiple ways to be able to properly rekey a lock. When you have a brand new key that obviously fits inside of it, this is a Kwikset keyway. So this Kwikset key will slide right on. So there's multiple ways. You can look at the key and see the cuts on the key itself and kind of gauge, well, that one's shorter, so it'd need a smaller pin, a little bit longer, so a little bit longer pin, really short, really long, really short. And you can kind of see, you know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actual cuts. So that is important. So we slide this in, we can see that there's 5 holes that would match up to each of those. So that first one is really short, so it might be a 2 or a 3, and you can guess that. So let's see, we come over here and we have the full chart right here in our pinning kit that tells us which one. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which correlates down here to these pins right here. So I said it might be a 2 or a 3, so let's start out with a 2. Put that in there, and look at that. We know that that's the correct pin because it's completely flush. It doesn't catch. If it sinks too low, then that's too small of a pin and we need a bigger one. And if it sticks up above the line, then we need a smaller pin. The pins are important to be completely flush because that is how the lock works. See, if it's sticking out like that, then it's going to catch inside the lock and it's not going to work. It has to be flush, and that's what makes it work. So right now I put the 2 in there and that worked like I thought it would. So let's now put a 3 in there just so you can see. I put a 3. It's sticking too far up. You can see it sticking over the top. That's going to catch. It's not even going to slide back into the lock with that. So you want to make sure it's completely flush. So let's take that back out and put that 2 back in there. And that works perfect. So that's how you can decode a key if you don't have the numbers. But on some keys, it will tell you right here the numbers. And here it says 2, 3, 1, 5, 2. So we don't even need to guess. We can just put them in. So that first one is 2, like I said. Then 3. And then 1. Then 5. Then 2. Just like the key said. And now, if we look at it, everything is absolutely perfect and flush. It's not too low, it's not too high, because the key had exactly what it needed on it. Sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it might sink too low or stick too high. So if that's the situation with a lock you're dealing with, then just play around with the pins a little bit. If one is sticking just a little bit above and there's no in between because the number just isn't right, you can always take a file and file it down to make it even. And if it's too low and you can't get one to match, you can also kind of take a drill bit and score the sides of one of the holes a little bit to make it to where there's a divot down so it can go in and out and hit the pin properly as if it was flush. But that's a little more advanced. I can do that in a different video. But for now, We put all the right pins in, everything's in correctly. So we come back over to the lock where we had the follower in, and we want to do the same thing. I want to slide this back in sideways with the follower having the long part in the top, so none of the springs fall out through the hole in the side of the follower. So go like this, and it slides back in, and then we test it. And you see, it works perfect. No clicking, no nothing like that, but we got to be careful, because if you turn it sideways and pull it out right now, it'll actually start to slide out, and we don't want that because the clip is not on the back. So make sure to put your finger on the front of it, and that'll make it to where you can hold it in place while sliding the key out so it doesn't slide out in full. Put the clip on the back. There's many different ways to do it. I tend to like to press it down on something hard, and it just pops into place just like that. And now we have a rekeyed lock. Boom. Just like so. One key and two keys. I have this lock here as well that I can show you guys. I don't have a key for it. Like I said in the beginning of this, I already showed how to shim, but we're already here, and I need to rekey this one as well. So I already popped that off, so let's shim it real quick. And now that we know the numbers, because they're on the key, we should be able to make quick work of this second lock as well. And it has a weird tailpiece, so I'll go over that here in just a second. So put the key all the way in, get the shim in the back of the lock so we can catch the shear line of the pins, so it's as if we put the right key inside the lock. And having that tailpiece that's right there kind of gets in the way, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, but it is possible. I'm almost there already, and I'm done. That was it. That's how long it should take you to shim. Might take a while to get used to it at that level. Now, this tailpiece could come off if you popped this off, but it's difficult to get it back on and staying on. So, if we don't want to interrupt this and play with this at all, we can use this type of follower that actually has a hole that goes all the way through it. So then we put the tailpiece through that hole, and then we can follow the lock, if it'll let it go, yep, right on through. And now you can tell where the top of it is, because all of those guys in the top right there, that's where the Bible is in this one. So as long as you keep that piece that covers the entire top in place, nothing will explode out on you. And then we come over and we do the same. Just got to get that last pin out. There we go. And the key said 23152. So put that in. 2, 3, 1, 5, and 2. And it's perfectly on the shear line. Nothing sticking up too high and nothing sticking down. And then we put that tailpiece back inside of that, slide it right on through. It goes all the way through. Now remember, once again, it can turn so it can actually slide out of the lock. We don't want to do that. So if you put your finger on the front, when you line it up, you can pull it back out. And then once you have the key out, it's not going to slide out. It can't. It's stuck in place. So then we can put the clip back on the back and push it back into place. And sometimes you might need something like a flathead or something to give you the leverage you need to slide that pin, or a clip, sorry, C-clip, back into place. There we go. Now it's clipped on. It shouldn't come out at all. Put the key in. Turns just fine, pulls out just fine. Same with this one. Second key works perfectly fine. And that is how you rekey a lock.